crack, a massive courtyard building broke into piles of rubble, revealing a very handsome man at its center. Even though the building collapsed with the man inside, nothing touched the man. The piles of rubble all deflected away, leaving an open ring around him. The young-looking man looked at the life pendant in his hand and grew gloomier. Who would dare touch a person from his sect? Could it be one of those pesky righteous sects? Damn it! Boom! The man quickly punched a pile of rubble beside him, instantly turning it to dust. His killing intent was so high that those around him shivered and subconsciously knelt before him, daring not to meet his eye. Nonetheless, amidst the fear came tremendous respect and awe. The stringer their master was, the greater the rewards they would get, living in his glory. Who wouldn't want that? As expected, their leader was mighty, and while many stood at the side shivering, the man's most trusted aides and guards didn't even flinch, watching everything as if it was nothing. The handsome man, who looked like he was still 18, was actually over 823 years old. He was the 25th Supreme Leader of Black Valley, and had incredible strength equivalent to the Emperor of Yonging. That's right, he was currently a Yonging person at the 12th Dan of the Spirit Realm, meaning that after the 13th Dan, he would get his tribulations and ascend should he succeed. He was the 25th appointed Supreme Leader that controlled all Black Valley sects and branches. Not long ago, they did try to expand their influence and open several branches within the Ta and Bailong provinces. But what was the result? He found that the sect leaders and many elders, within one of the sect branches, there had their life pendants broken all in one night. So how could he not get pissed off? The thing that annoyed him the most was that this sort of thing happened within the Ta province. Who didn't know that among the 3 provinces, that one was the weakest? 6 out of 10 of those who ascended came from Yonging province, while 3 out of 10 came from Bailong province. And lastly, the Ta province could only get a measly 1/10. Yes, all areas within the lower realm were desolate, but the Ta province was the most desolate, lacking of all. In the eyes of others, they were the beggars within the lower realm. So no matter how glorious their sects and lifestyles were, every time they visited other provinces for exchanges, they were constantly reminded of their lowliness. They were trash, and it was this fact that annoyed Supreme Leader Luchin even more. A mere Ta province dared to resist them? Who gave them the guts? Bohai! Yes, Supreme Leader. Send someone to the Ta province to investigate. I want to know which sect is responsible. I want answers, and I want them fast. Now go. Luchin looked at the life pendants in his hands and crumbled them into dust. He would like to see who dared to go against him. Like so, several days went by in a flash, with many completely infected by God of War. I hate those giant bugs. Do you know that I got killed by them over 6 times now? Ugh, they're so annoying. I think you're supposed to switch from Blades of Chaos to other magical blades in that incident. I used Fire of Ares to pass that stage. Bro, why is it so hard for me? No matter what I do, I always end up dying whenever I follow Majira into the underground dungeon. Is it Majira you guys are talking about? That despicable woman tricked me. When I just got into the dungeon, she appeared out of nowhere and shattered the ground, making me fall onto the floor below. There, I saw her bugs open a prisoner's cell and fuse with the poor prisoner, turning him into a disgusting insect man. And before I knew it, they pierced my head and I died. Ha 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 ha. I remember that part too. I died twice there, but the 3rd time I was fast to catch their tricks. Wait, have you guys started collecting sacred records now? Sacred records? Where did you find them? Within those chests. As usual, I searched and opened a green chest, followed by a red one that replenished my health and upgraded my battle abilities. But it was there that I also discovered a plain-looking chest too. And after opening it, I was shocked to find a sacred record from a scribe of Hecatonkires. But just when I was happy. Let me guess, Majira? Yes. How did you know? Just when I was swimming in bliss, she appeared behind me and cut both of my arms out, and later cut my head off. Ha ha ha. As expected, everyone has a bone to pick with her. She's too strong. No wonder she works for Ares and the gods as punishment enforcers. Along the busy street, 3 men and 2 ladies were steadily advancing in utter confusion. But who were these people? Well, they were the backup that Bosu and his friends had urgently sent for the first time they chanced upon the gaming hall. At the time, they sent word through their sparrow beasts, which carried it speedily to the profound sect. They prepared for the worst, just in case the people behind the gaming hall were hostile. Funny enough, after experiencing the god of war world, they had completely forgotten that they sent for backup from their master. And so their master, Grand Elder Nyenzu, was currently helping the sect solve some important matters. Nonetheless, he would never leave his most favored disciples in a pickle. That's why he sent his most powerful men to aid Bosu and the rest. As for these people, the moment they stepped into the town, they heard a few people talking about some strange things, which left them confused. Majira? Underground dungeon? Fury of Ares? Just what were these people talking about? Could it be that there was some sort of underground dungeon nearby? And dungeons were meant to hold prisoners in them. So are these people excited about visiting dungeons? Everything was just all too confusing. Jimadelu looked at her senior brother deeply. Senior Gowl, do you have any idea about what sort of prisoners could make these people so excited about seeing a dungeon? I'm afraid it might be Junior Bosu and the rest. No one would dare to go against the profound sect so openly. Senior and I long nodded in agreement. He's right. It's highly unlikely that they would do such a thing. More so, didn't you see the smile and excitement from those who mentioned it? They spoke as if they had some deep grudge against those in that dungeon. And they kept mentioning some Majira person as well. So it's probably some enemy giving them trouble for years now. Brother and I, what you say makes sense. Nonetheless, I think this matter should be investigated properly. It might have something to do with the mysterious gaming and registration hall that Junior Bosu wrote about. From the message, he said that he hadn't entered the gaming hall yet, and had only seen the registration hall. So could these places be the homes belonging to this Majira person? Sister Lulu, you do have a point. But as of now, we must first locate our junior brothers before we investigate further. They would probably have more information than we do. So we must find them fast. Senior Ping is right. Everyone nodded in agreement. With that, the group of 5 hastily left the scene in search of their junior brothers. The group of 5 quickly found the inn where Bosu and the rest mentioned in their message. They stealthily went into the room and waited for their juniors to return. What made them puzzled was the fact that those brats weren't here yet. Didn't they say they would spend the entire day waiting for their arrival? So where the hell were they? Could it be that they were already attacked and forcefully locked up somewhere? Everyone became overly alert and anxious. Oh no! What should they do if their juniors had already been attacked? Damn it! Who would dare openly go against the profound sect so openly? Was it all a devious ploy of some sect enemy? Was this town just a cover-up for these dangerous people? Everyone got up and decided to visit this so-called gaming hall to be sure. They felt like the registration hall might not have the answers they were looking for, because, as stated by Bosu in his message, the gaming hall seemed to be more mysterious. Everyone felt like going there, or at least counting the area, was the best thing to do right now. They had waited here for 4 whole hours, and their juniors were nowhere to be found. So they had no other choice than to enter the enemy's den and investigate. Typically, when Bosu or anyone else promised to wait somewhere, this meant that they would sit or stay in the same place, sometimes cultivating for days nonstop while in wait. Since the outside was dangerous, it wasn't wise for them to move. As cultivators, they could go days, weeks, and months without eating. That said, they had stayed here and couldn't see any sign of their juniors after several hours. So wasn't this a sign of danger? Everything made them so uneasy that they decided to check the gaming hall out. But before that, they had to inform their master, Grand Elder Nyenzu, of the developments so far. Gowl Mu, the oldest amongst the gang, had a 2-star sparrow beast that could send his message within a few days. So they decided to send a letter to their master first. And with their master's strength, he should be able to dash over here within 1.5 days max, unlike they, who used up 9 entire days to get here. The profound sect was located very far away from this desolate town, so it was already an incredible feat. Of course, the profound sect was one of the closest sects around. The entire lower realm was too large and very spacious with all sorts of terrains. And from Wonji town, some sects were located weeks and even months away from many cultivators. Everyone felt like even though they didn't know the gist of the matter, it was always better to make preparations and inform their master, just in case their speculations were correct. By then, they would need to stall the enemy until their master came. After sorting things out, they hastily took off and headed towards the so-called gaming hall. And on the way there, they tried gathering information from the excited passerbys about the place. It was just that everything they heard still left them feeling overly suspicious. The information was too unbelievable that they immediately concluded that these people had been deceived or hypnotized into believing such nonsense. No one could create a gateway to another realm, not even their profound sect or the top sections. So how can a fledgling town lord do it? Could it be that their lord was giving them hallucinating powder and tricking them of their money? As proud profound sect seniors, they highly doubted that such a small rural area could create such a miracle. As expected, their juniors were right. The people behind the gaming hall might be fraudsters who came here to make a living. But what amazed them was the fact that these scammers would go far and beyond to sell their lies. From the message, Bo Su said they created some miraculous maps and also enhanced the inside of their registration hall using space runes and formations. Without a doubt, that alone is an impressive feat. But this wasn't enough to convince anyone about a portal to another realm. That was just too insane to believe. The profound sects also had maps and used space arrays for their pavilion. So what was so great about that? The key is that these people were duping these small-time cultivators who had never seen the big outside world before, because they knew how to create space arrays. Now, everything was starting to make a lot of sense. No wonder they chose this small town that was very far away from the big cities. Of course, they knew that there might be an influential person behind these mysterious halls. But they didn't for 1 second believe that the person would be able to take on the profound sect that had existed for thousands and thousands of years now. That would never happen. Thinking like that, the Gang of 5 followed the directions given to them and soon found themselves standing before a very ordinary building. Was this truly the place? Already, their expectations had lessened when they saw how ordinary the building looked. In front of the hall were 12 other cultivators who kept talking excitedly. Sigh. Kratos is so pitiful. He wants to take down the gods all on his one, but can he really do it? Of course he can. Haven't you seen how powerful he is? Yesterday, you guys came late and missed how Brother Yen dealt with those insect people. Why did I have to go hunting in the morning? Damn it. That's not all. Brother Ben Owo also dealt with the stage you couldn't clear within the underground dungeon. And Brother Bo was just too awesome. From what the boss Chu said, he's the only one who has reached 2/3 of that level, meaning that he will soon finish the prison of the damned level. How awesome is that? Big smiley face. The Gang of 5, who perked up their ears, were somewhat confused again. Brother Bo, Brother Bin, Brother Yen. Explore new ovals on envelby.com. Aren't these the first names of their juniors? No, maybe they were overthinking it. Or maybe it was true. The gang had never been so lost in their lives. They shook their heads wryly and began scanning around the building before setting their eyes on the board. What sort of rules were these? And what do they mean by charging so much per hour? Since they came here to investigate and decided to lay low, they had been patiently waiting in line all this time. Usually, they typically cut their line due to their status. But for the sake of finding their juniors, they humbled themselves. However, seeing these prices only made their blood boil in rage. Not even the profound sect would charge so much. So weren't these people going too far? Or were they saying that they were better than the profound sect? More still, were these people so stupid that they remained overly excited even after being duped? Or was there truly a gateway to another realm in there? And if it did exist, why choose such a small town and not choose a big city? Damn! Their brains kept crashing as their thoughts kept contradicting each other. Once again, they were even more confused than before. Sigh. They had to find their juniors fast. Only they could clear their minds and give them peace. Stepping in, the gang looked at the hall in surprise. They had already prepared to see space arrays and formations, but this one seemed to be on a whole new level. Their eyes dilated vigilantly. Who exactly were they up against? As the group made their way in, no one seemed bothered by them. The atmosphere within the gaming hall was filled with excitement and thrills. No one could have predicted that this little building could produce such a wave of fans. The place had the power to make people forget their identities and interact with each other purely. Several people surrounded Bo Su, Yen Jin, and Bin Owo in an attempt to watch their gameplay. The trio were the strongest at the moment and were somewhat famous within the hall. Yen Jin, who was focused on completing the prison of the damned level, continuously advanced further and finally escaped the underground dungeon. He looked at the scenic, heavenly atmosphere around him and felt alive. Ah, it was good to see the sun again. Look, Brother Yen Jin is out. Awesome. Now, he's the second person to leave the underground dungeon safely. I heard that once you leave, you will already be 1/3 way through the level. As expected of Brother Yen. Brother Yen, I see a chest to your left. Quickly go and open it up. Sigh. The chest only contained a healing potion that could raise his H.P by 15 points. Why is it so low? Don't you know? The healing potions all have different points, depending on luck. For example, when Brother Bo Su got to this stage, there was no chest around. But after advancing further, he hit a healing potion that gave him a boost of 3 points only. 3 points? Why so cruel? What's the difference between 3 points and 0? Hey, 3 is better than nothing. But still, that's too tragic. Poor Brother Bo Su. The people crowded Yen Jin gleefully and began watching his gameplay and taking notes. Yen Jin, on the other hand, was wholly focused on the game. He swore that no matter what, today would be the day that he completed this level, even if he was only 1/3 way through it. Resurrection location saved. He let out a whiff of air from relief. At least now, if he dies, he'll resurrect here. Looking around, even though it was a prison, the whole place still looked like a godly residence on top of mountains. He ascended the many stairs that seemed endless. That's right, there were over 400 steps. He ran up straight for a while before finally branching left. And soon, he was on a very long outdoor passageway attached to the side of a mountain. Damn, who designed this? Yen Jin felt very much alive, as he felt the temperature drop the more he ascended. This heart was constantly drumming, while diligently watching his environment for any enemies. And just as he expected, out of nowhere, Majira emerged once more. Boom! Yen Jin quickly rolled away and stood on his feet with both swords at hand, while looking at the villain before him. There was a massive hole in the wall caused by her attack. You worthless mortal! Don't think that you'll be able to leave this place alive. You will see how we treat our prisoners here. And by the way, I will never forgive you for taking my arm. Never. With that, she began throwing things at him, while steadily retreating towards a massive gate-like door just ahead. He, of course, dodged and followed her as well. But just when he was close to the gigantic door before him, he heard a sharp noise around him. Shack! In a flash, several iron rods popped out of the ground behind him. Again, more iron rods popped out of the floor a little bit ahead, just before the gate. Damn it! It was a trap. He quickly looked left, right, and all around him vigilant. Could this be the trap scene that Bo Su told him about? F*******. This Majira was just too sneaky. Ha 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 ha. Worthless mortal. Now, you will know what genuine fear is. With that, black smoke began forming on the steps before him, and several insect men popped out. They held spears and looked more built up and ferocious than those he fought earlier on. But was Yen Jin scared? No way. Truth be told, he felt very excited instead. Why? Because the more challenges he faced, the better chances he had to improve his strength. The game gave them real-life death experiences that almost gave him heart attacks. On top of that, he realized that his battle perception had increased tremendously. What warrior wouldn't be happy about gaining such experiences without the risk of dying in real life? This game was undoubtedly a treasure, and the more he advanced, the more powerful he would be in the lower realm. He looked at the insect men and smiled coldly. Bring it on! The fire burned even more within Yanjin's heart. He quickly jumped up and threw his bands towards the insects. Rage of Ares! Boom! His swords produced a scorching pit of fire that burnt his victims to ashes after their H.P. went down. Looking at his victory, Majira was pissed. Spartan, it is time for you to meet your death. With that, several gigantic green bugs morphed from the ground and began attacking him like crazy. Ares' fury. Boom, 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 boom. The air was so tense and brittle that it could snap at any time. The tension in the air gave Yanjin a sense of urgency. But just when he thought he would be able to get through the tide, that mad insect Majira pierced his through from the back of his neck. Puff. Yanjin was shocked. When did she get so close to him without him knowing? Pain. It hurts. He felt pain beyond imagination. And as he slowly lost consciousness, he struggled to keep his eyes on his nemesis, Majira. Spartan, didn't I say that you won't be able to escape my grasp? Heh. I'm sure you've now realized how stupid you are to think that you can outsmart the gods. I'll tell you this, Spartan. You are nothing but a fool for the gods. If you had been obedient, you wouldn't be here right now, would you? And if you think that at this moment I wouldn't take more revenge on you, then you lie. With that, she began slicing and tearing him to pieces before he completely lost feeling and consciousness. She was really furious about the arm thing. Yanjin was both unwilling and helpless. Lady, can you give it a rest? He began praying for death, because the pain he felt could make a lame man walk again. Everyone who was watching his gameplay looked at him pitifully. They knew how crazy this Majira chick was. In future, anyone with this name would make them sticker uncontrollably. Majira was their nemesis. But while the trio was immersed in their own world, their seniors, on the other hand, were having a headache dealing with Chu Che. Would it be so bad if they killed him now? The group of seniors who had already stepped in couldn't help but hold their breath in shock. What a design! When their juniors had written about the unique and godly design here, they assumed it should be similar to those in the sect. But who would have known that they were wrong? The whole place made them feel like they weren't in the lower region at all. They looked around and spotted several unusual puppets, rosies, there, as well as strange tables, chairs, and whatnot. Of course, one couldn't forget the strange box device thing that said ATM, standing there too. It seems that their juniors didn't exaggerate. They looked around in shock and marvel. Nonetheless, confusion was the strongest emotion that prevailed in their minds. Didn't it say gaming hall? So where are the fights? Where were the contestants and the place to mat bets? Or could it be as they suspected? Could this place be a hypnosis room that tricked people into thinking they were going into another realm? Well, whatever the truth might be, they had to investigate it. Thinking like that, they marched in cautiously before spotting a young man sitting calmly alongside a puppet. Young man, can you tell us what this place is? Chu Che calmly raised his head and glanced at them as if looking at illiterates. It's a gaming hall, he said while pointing at the sign. Could it be that they didn't know how to read? Gao's lips twitched uncontrollably. Already, he didn't like this brat. Adjusting his mode, he forced out a smile at Chu Che. Yes, I know that, but I don't see any arena. So what type of gaming hall is this? A fun one. What does it offer? A chance to game. _ Gao looked heavenward and started counting numbers in his mind. When he was 16, he wasn't this annoying, right? Gao, who was 37 this year, was of course still a brat himself since people lived for hundreds and thousands of years here, while still looking 18. For the first time, he truly felt old when dealing with Chu Che. The guy just gave him a headache. Everyone chuckled behind Gao as they found everything quite amusing. Well, that is until they tried their luck and also felt like strangling Chu Che. Particularly, the youngest Lulu couldn't take it anymore. She puffed out her cheeks and pouted while pointing angrily at Chu Che. You, do you know who we are? We're asking you a simple question. So why so difficult? You are bullying too much. Everyone else tried to hold the little Lolita back. Sigh. Amongst themselves, Lulu, who looked the weakest, was more prone to anger than anyone else. She was a rare genius in the lower realm who was only 9 years old. She was very straightforward and threw tantrums here and there. You bully too much. Chu-Che looked at the cute 9-year-old and felt very helpless. What did he do now to make her so upset? Little girl, how did I bully you? I've answered all your questions honestly. So what's the matter? Or, are you angry because of something else? Could it be that you didn't eat or drink enough milk today, which has left you angry and cranky? Sigh. Little girl, you should always listen to your parents and eat enough. You see, if you had just listened, you wouldn't be feeling so bad now. Forget it. As a good upright man, how can I see you hungry and not feed you? Here, do you want something to eat? PFFF. Everyone tightened their lips as they tried not to laugh before Lulu. Lulu, on the other hand, tired as red as a tomato and slapped Chu-Che's hand away. Who the hell wants your stupid food? I'm not hungry. Jarrrrrrrr. Ha 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 ha. The moment her belly rang out, some people couldn't take it anymore and burst into laughter. Lulu looked at her belly and felt shame. How could it betray her now? Could it be that she has been angry because she was hungry? Her 9-year-old mentality was starting to think so. Could it be that she has been angry because she was hungry? Her 9-year-old mentality was starting to think so. The system, alongside everyone else, was completely dumbfounded by the time of events. But while Lulu seemed to have formed some sort of bond with Chu-Che, the rest were still very alert and suspicious. Gao and Jima were very clear-headed amidst everyone else. Even though they didn't know what this game thing was, they decided to see it firsthand before taking action. They weren't too scared because they had already sent an urgent message to their master. So they just needed to keep their cool until their master arrived. Looking at him, Gao squinted his eyes thoughtfully. If I may ask, who are you, and what do we call you by? You can call me Mr. Chu, and I'm the owner of Wanji Park. Likewise, I'm also the town lord as well. Gao and everyone else's smile froze in shock. This young man of 16 years old was the owner, as well as the town lord? At first, they thought that he was just a regular worker here. But who would have known that he was the owner? Wait, town lord? So he was the young town lord they heard about before coming here? Everyone took a step back, reevaluating him again in their minds. They weren't impressed at his title as town lord, since they were used to being around people with far greater titles. No, what shook them was that he was so young and very able, so much so that he had a grand formation master behind him. Automatically, they assumed that it must be some great person that created this place for his disciple. In their heads, they even came up with the perfect image for the person. The Grand Formation Master was probably an old man full of wisdom and had long gray hair. They even began giving him a character of a great hermit that loved to live in seclusion. Looking around the room again, they couldn't help but believe in their speculations. As expected of the great hermit, only someone as powerful as him could create such a place. And just like that, the cute system was turned into an old man who was supposedly a great hermit. After finding out Chu-Che's identity, the gang slowly walked towards a crowd of people who were currently surrounding someone or some people. Now it was time to begin their investigations. They looked around vigilantly and realized that all the seats in front of all black box-like artifacts, computers, were filled. So they had no other choice but to join those who were watching. But when they went close, they saw 3 familiar people. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Here they were, worrying about these bastards non-stop, while the heartless idiots were busy laughing and chilling with everyone else without a care in the world. They sure had guts. Seeing the situation before them, the gang really felt that beating these cold-hearted juniors to a pulp. Before coming in here, they had already sent word to their master, thinking that these heartless juniors were in danger. But seeing this scene now, they knew that their previous assumptions were very far from the truth. These juniors who were supposed to wait for their arrival in rooms were here having the time of their lives instead. The gang advanced angrily in an attempt to yank the fools out of here and beat them silly. But when they got closer, their expressions turned from rage to shock. What exactly was this? Everyone's mouth hung wide open, as they tried to make sense of what was before them. Could it be that the information they heard from passerbys was true? Gao snapped back to his senses and turned to another youth who had his eyes glued to Bosu's computer screen. "Excuse me, do you know what this is?" Are you new?" "Yes, you must be new." "What is this, you ask?" "Well, it's only the most fantastic thing in this lower realm. This right here is a portal to another dimension." The young man who Gowl spoke to answered Gowl, without taking his eyes off the screen. His name was Ru Moyen, a 14-year-old boy. He was a resident of Wonji town, as well as someone who aspired to join any sect to become more powerful, bringing more wealth to his family. The more he spoke, the more his eyes home with excitement. "That's right. Once you wear this thing called the virtual headgear, it will take you away into the world you see here." "What?" Gowl, Jima, and Ilong, Lulu, and Pingli gasped in alarm. How is that possible? Even their profound sect didn't have such a thing. So how could this tiny town have one? Several thoughts raced through their minds as they found that nothing made sense at all. Who would have such powers in the lower realm? Gowl's lips quivered in awe while watching Bosu's screen. "Then, do you know who created it?" Ru Moyen took his eye out from the screen for the very first time and looked at Gowl and the rest seriously. "I do. It was the young town lord." Shook. They were all shaken to the core. Him. Ru Moyen saw their faces of disbelief and smiled bitterly. "I passed by one fateful day, and I saw the young city lord and his guards stepping out of the building. The moment they did, the young town lord did something with his hands that caused terrible swirling winds to appear. And when it was over, the sign at the door and many other things changed. What was also impressive was that the guards who went in and out continuously praised him for changing the inside of the place. Look, he created even the puppets here. We all call him Boss Chu, and he's the owner of his place. Was he really the owner? Chu Che said it earlier on, but they only half believed it. Listening to Ru Moyen, everyone fell in a daze. How was this possible? How the hell did this 16-year-old boy train to be able to get to this level? They tried to see through his cultivation level and realized they couldn't. So didn't this mean that he was way stronger than them? What the hell was going on here in this little town? Instantly, their image of him increased significantly in their hearts. This person was definitely another rare, once-in-a-lifetime genius who liked laying low. And his master should be even more unfathomable. Sigh. Luckily, they didn't do anything rash, or they might be incurring the wrath of some unknown monster. Lulu's face turned proud when she thought of how she was now close with Chu Che. Of course, my senior brother is great. Anyone recognized by me is definitely great. Listening to her, Bosu and the rest didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Since when did he become your senior brother? We haven't even concluded the investigation yet, and you're already calling him that? Who was it that said that we wouldn't rest until we find the truth? Everyone looked at Lulu helplessly. Sure enough, the mind of a child changes a lot. The gang soon turned their attention back to the screen before them. But the more they watched, the more annoyed they felt, especially Lulu. Stupid juniors. How can you lose so quickly? Those standing close to her looked at her in bewilderment. What? Little girl, you think it's that simple? You all don't know what you're talking about. These three are the most powerful among us. So trust me, what they're doing is no easy feat. Pooey, what's so hard about killing such a weak enemy? Kud and the rest supported her wholeheartedly. In their minds, it was too simple. Everyone else looked at them and laughed. Ha 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 ha. You think it's easy? Of course. Gal replied. Heh. Then I'll gladly give up 1 hour on my turn for one of you. I dare any of you to beat our 3 top players. Another person also joined the gamble as well. Yeah, I'll gladly give up 1 hour too. How can you insult our champions? I'll do the same as well. Me too. Count me in. I'd like to see how you guys will make it through. I bet they wouldn't even make it to the prison of the damned. Bro, you're even going too far. I doubt that they'll even be able to escape the chains. Ha 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 ha. Lulu, as usual, was a ticking time bomb. Fine. We'll do your stupid dare. Good. The next free artifacts, computers, will be available in the next hour. So, where are your membership cards? _ Lulu looked around in confusion. Membership cards? What are those? Rumoyan looked at them and shook his head wryly before volunteering to help them retrieve their maps, as well as their membership cards. Needless to say, the maps and cards were too remarkable. Wait, how does the map know my name? What sort of map is this? So it can only activate through my voice or thoughts. Amazing. Just what is this membership card? How can it do so much? There's even a portrait of myself there. And how did it know my cultivation level? Is there a detector on the card? Guys, now that we've added ourselves as friends through the card, looking at the map, all of you are now purple, while everyone else is gray. Hey, look. The puppets are orange instead. It says orange is for the staff. Did any of you notice that the map, as well as the card, says that we are in Wanji Entertainment Park? Yeah, I saw that too. But what exactly is an entertainment park? Everyone, we can figure that out later. Rather than worrying about that, there's something else that's been bugging me. When I put my invisibility mode on, how is it on your maps? Hey, your purple color has turned gray instead. That's it. Look. It turned into a wristband. No way. What? Degree 0 degree. Rumoyan looked at everyone who was now acting like 3-year-old children and smiled. They looked completely different from their proud figures earlier on. Maybe this was the beauty of the park. He too had the same expression when he first witnessed the awesomeness of these things. He also showed them how to insert coins or beast cores through the ATM thing. Everything seemed all too magical. Now Gowl and the rest were more than excited to get into the strange world and outdo their juniors. Ha 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 ha. Just in time. Come on. I'd like to see how good you think you are to look down at our top players. Everyone playfully teased them, as if waiting for them to taste defeat too. Over the past few days, the game has bonded many of them with Bo Su and the rest. Some even went hunting with Bo Su's gang, while others got counseling from them instead. In short, everyone undoubtedly gave the trio respect and acknowledged their skills. These were the top players in the God of War realm, so how can they stand people calling them weak? Lulu scoffed and sat on the computer, determined to crush this stupid realm. Gowl and the rest shook their heads wryly at the cute lowly seated on the chair. Nonetheless, in their minds, as seniors, they were more than confident that they would be able to pass their juniors in a flash. How could these juniors make them lose face by failing so many times? Wasn't this losing master's face? Where did all their training go? Wasn't it just taking down an enemy? Why were they disgracing the profound sect so much? No, they had to go in there and show them how it's done. How hard could it be? How hard could it be? Lulu pouted her cheeks and looked at her juniors in disdain. Weren't they making Master look bad? She sat down angrily before freezing and turning to one of the people beside her angrily. I said I'll do your stupid dare, so why isn't it working? Little girl, it's not working because you haven't inserted your membership card yet. Everyone looked helplessly at the lowly before them. If they got angry with a 9-year-old girl, wouldn't they just be idiots? It was akin to someone arguing with a baby. It didn't make any sense. Plus, who made her so cute? How could such a tiny thing have such an explosive attitude? Sigh. Lulu pouted her soft cheeks and inserted her membership card, and wore the headgear like the people said. Suddenly, she heard a strange voice. Welcome, player. Please click on the game icon with your mind by saying God of War Ascension, followed by inwardly chanting the word begin to start. You can also click on it with your mouse, and still inwardly chant the word begin to start. Lulu's eyes opened wide in alarm. Who said that? Where was the voice coming from? Could it be the immortal people that Master always spoke about? Lulu jumped on her chair playfully as excitement quickly inched into her heart. Was that the voice of the gods in another world? Looking at the icon on the computer, Lulu felt that her thoughts were even more accurate. The realm was called God of War, Ascension. So wouldn't there be gods there? She felt so excited that she couldn't wait to fly into the strange new world. She puffed her chest and felt like it would be very easy. After all her life, she had been told that she was a genius. So if her juniors could do it, it should be nothing for her. Unbeknownst to her, pain was awaiting her on the other side. Lulu listened to the intro about the gods and the furries before finally coming face to face with Majira. One could say that she very much wanted to kill her. What's the big deal? You have several other arms and claws. So why cry so much about one? Lulu felt like the woman was a drama queen. And this was coming from someone with an explosive temper. Mortal, I want your life. Bam, 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 slash, pa. What the hell? Lulu felt dizzy with pain and rage. She had never felt so much pain in her entire life. It was so bad that she started counting numbers in her mind. She looked at Majira and secretly swore to destroy her before returning to the profound sect. The 9-year-old Lulu felt a deep sense of hatred for the insect lady. Her quest for revenge was real. Of course, it wasn't just Lulu that felt that way. Gowl and the rest also felt like this Majira lady was going too far. They struggled and strived to avoid her attacks while chained up. But the more she hit them, the greater their H.P went down. The first time they died, they realized the importance of having a high HP. Below the health bar was a figure that showed them how much H.P they had left. And the feeling was all too real because they found their bodies growing weaker and their senses rapidly deteriorating. It was a terribly painful experience that gave them the closest thing to death. They died many times and struggled to escape this place. After dying several times, they successfully managed to break free from the chains binding them. What left them in awe was the swords that appeared in their hands. Lulu smiled coldly at Majira, and just when she was about to make her move, she was ejected from the game. Your time is up. Player Lulu didn't respond to the countdown. Ejection starting. Farewell, player Lulu. Lulu, who was about to land a hit on Majira, opened her eyes wide in alarm.
No.
Nu, you stop for me. She tried reasoning with the voice, but before she knew it, she found herself back in the gaming hall. Nu. It's not fair. I almost had her. TT. Gowl and the rest had also got ejected as well. They were too focused on Majira that they didn't listen to the warnings. Damn it. How could time pass so fast? They were so close. Everyone chuckled and teased the new folks a bit. So see, you guys aren't even at the level that our champions are. Do you now understand how tough that world is? Yeah, our champions are very, very far ahead of you. But don't worry, we were once like you when we first entered the strange world too. You guys should quickly look at your cultivation levels. Gould and the rest looked at everyone curiously before finally doing as they were told. What? How could this be? Going there in just an hour could make them have this much change? They felt their bodies were more robust than before. What was going on here? Those around them chuckled at their bewildered expressions. Shocked, right? But what if I tell you that this wasn't all? You see, the numbers under your cultivation level, that's the number of points needed for you to break through to the next rank. Lulu and the rest were in a daze. No wonder these juniors were here rather than waiting for them in the inn. They wouldn't be surprised if they forgot about their coming over. What impressed them all the more was that Mr. Chu had decided to let everyone get a chance to enter this strange realm. Now they felt like the prices were just too low. What a joke. A thing like this could cause thousands and thousands of gold coins, just for a single draw of breath within the mysterious realm. But this Mr. Chu didn't care about such worldly things, and gave even the less privileged a chance to enter. Once again, their impression of him was raised very high. He was a person who held power, but wasn't greedy and didn't care about one's title. The rules clarify that no matter who came, it would be first come, first serve. Such a person was definitely worth their respect. Bosu and the rest finished their 6-hour sessions and were shocked to see their seniors here. Seniors, what are you doing here? Seigneur? Silence. Those around looked at both sides in confusion. Brothers, you all know each other? Bosu and his gang nodded. Of course. They are our seniors in our sect. You three have to compensate me. Lulu placed her hands on her hips and stared at the juniors while pouting. Smelly juniors. You sent for us and then left us hanging? Does this place look like an inn to you? More importantly, we are your seniors, so why are you better in this realm than us? Answer me. Why are you better? Bosu, Yenjin, and Bin-Oo felt very helpless when looking at Lulu. She might be their senior, but they were all older than this little girl. Lulu's cheeks inflated when she looked at the juniors before her. We are your seniors, so why are you better than us? The trio quickly stepped forward to coax the girl, but the girl wasn't having it. In the end, they had to bribe her with food before she gave in. Lulu scoffed in annoyance. Humph, smelly juniors. Seeing Chu-Che, Bosu quickly rushed towards him with pleading eyes. Boss, I'm almost finishing Prison of the Damned, but I keep getting killed by the final boss that looks like one of those to tame in the stories. I think his name is Hecatonkires. Boss, do you know how to kill him and pass this level? Everyone turned towards Chu-Che curiously. Did he know how to play? They, more than anyone, knew that the pressure and tension in the game were 100 times more than that here. So one's real strength in this realm wasn't enough to guarantee victory within the God of War realm. Everyone looked at Chu-Che and felt he might not be any better. After all, must see how these seniors of the profound sect fared. I bet he won't even be able to reach the Prison of the Damned. I bet he'll die at least 10 times before getting there. It's hard to say. He must be able to pull it off. What? No way. Do you know how powerful Majira and her goons are? He can't pull it off without dying once. I agree. No one could do such a feat. Everyone was now engaged with guessing how Boss Chu would fail. After losing to Majira countless times, no one thought Chu-Che would have a chance. The woman was just too strong. Chu-Che chuckled. I'll broadcast everything, so you can watch it through the TVs in the lounge, or watch it through your cards. Today, I'll show you how to pass the level. Everyone's body trembled with excitement. No way. Boss Chu has actually finished the level? Was Boss Chu that powerful? Their lips quivered excitedly as some hurriedly rushed towards the lounge, while others decided to watch through their membership cards. Some also chose to stand behind Chu-Che and watch everything from there. Bosu, Lulu, and the rest chose to stand behind Chu-Che. Just like that, everyone patiently waited to watch his gameplay. They wanted to know just how powerful the owner was. Chu-Che sat in his personal station, wore his headgear, and inserted a golden card to log in. Those who saw this stretched their eyes, so much they almost fell out of their sockets. Others had standard blue cards, but the park owner's card was gold. Sigh. He was a boss, all right. Very soon, Chu-Che began his broadcast. Everyone opened their mouths and rubbed their eyes with their hands in shock. They weren't dreaming, right? Did they see the owner take just 1 minute to break through the chains, deal with Majira and fall towards the Prison of the Damned? Why is it that when the owner plays, he makes it feel like Majira is an ant? Is this really the same game that I've been playing all this while? Everyone's face became distorted with disbelief. How can this be? Bam! In a flash, Chu-Che had fallen with Majira and was now within the Prison of the Damned. Wow! So fast. Look at how fast he killed those swarm of bugs. These guys gave many people nightmares, but for the owner, it was just a walk in the park as if they were nothing. Chu-Che saw the messages on the pop-up screen and smiled. Whether broadcasting or not, once anyone enters the game, there will be a pop-up that always remains open. This screen allowed those within the game to communicate with those outside the game. So any comments said around the player would be written on the screen. It was helpful because, at times, players were told about lurking dangers around them and got many valuable tips from those outside the God of War world. Whether broadcasting or not, since people crowd around players, the pop-up screen was essential and helpful. The owner has reached the battle with the Hecatonkires. What? So soon? Everyone saw the giant ancient titan slam its heavy knife-like class at Chu-Che, but the boss quickly dodged it. When trying to defeat it, use the Icarus lift while midair. Following that, you can use any fury attack and target the creature's midbelly. Its upper part is as vital as armor, so target places like its neck. Everyone listened to Chu-Che attentively and dared not make a sound. Chu-Che unleashed his Olympic fury at the creature and then rolled away, avoiding the creature's blades coming at him at an incredible speed. Boom! The ground shattered into tiny bits from the creature's attack. The carnage was terrifying, but did that stop Chu-Che? No. He quickly stabilized himself and jumped on the creature's claws just before it could raise it from the ground. And in a flash, he climbed to its neck and stabbed it deeply.
Chew.
Blood flowed vigorously. Kriya! The creature wailed and lifted its body upright, which should make Chu-Che fall. But since the blades of chaos have chains on them, Chu-Che swung to the creature's other shoulder. From there, he stabbed it again on the other side of its neck. Kriya. Everyone's breathing was heavy as they watched in tension. Will the owner be able to do it? Some even got up from their seats and couldn't take the anxiety anymore. Chu-Che's moves were direct, precise, and brutal. He grabbed, slashed, ripped, sliced, and dug out his opponent's heart in little to no time. Even his techniques made everything they did earlier seem like child play. I'll go. Why is his Olympic fury, air, more powerful than mine? Damn. Even his Orion's harpoon is deadlier than mine. F********. The owner is a god. Throughout the live stream, Chu-Che had been giving them tips on passing the level, which made many open their eyes and ears wide attentively. Some even felt like after seeing Boss Chu play, they too might be able to pass the first level easily. Bo-Su, who had been watching like a good teacher's pet, couldn't help smiling like a fool. Presently, he felt very pumped up and wanted nothing more than to be in the game again. Too bad he had used up all his hours for the day, so he could only do so tomorrow. He pouted while looking at Chu-Che carefully. Why didn't the boss show his skills earlier? Now he had wasted his today's realm hours. Those who had already finished their session felt the same too. In contrast, others who still had time quickly rushed back in to try their luck. But how could things be that easy? They would soon understand that their boss Chu was on an entirely different level. When Chu-Che logged out, he met a very enthusiastic crowd waiting for him. Boss Chu, you were awesome. Boss Chu, how did you get so good? My hands were sweating the entire time. Boss, how far have you gone in the realm? I've completed it. Ha. Boss Chu sure likes to joke. For real. How far have you gone? Chu-Che looked at them casually. Like I said, I've completed it. Everyone's eyes widened in shock as they looked at Chu-Che as if looking at some strange creature. He completed it? How is that possible? Many felt dizzy from shock. Just how powerful was the boss to be able to finish it? Everyone looked at Chu-Che in reference. Sure enough, the boss was mighty. No one here could see his cultivation strength, making them even more sure that he was a monster genius. Even Lulu took a step back and looked at him again. As expected of someone she called senior brother, Rumoyan's eyes were filled with worship as he gazed upon Chu-Che. He felt like Boss Chu might be the strongest person around these parts. Soon, a crazy thought popped into his head. Could he ask Boss Chu to be his master? Boss Chu, can you give us guidance whenever you're free? Well, sure. Great. Thank you, Boss Chu. Boss. Just how powerful are you? Chu-Che looked at them and smiled. That's a secret. Everyone looked at him and gulped anxiously. His mysterious smile made them feel like he should be super strong. But to what extent? He was only 16 years old. So how powerful was he? Was he stronger than the inner disciples in those big sects? Or was he more potent than the core disciples and gold disciples instead? Without knowing it, Chu-Che had created a new guessing game amongst everyone here. What was the boss's real strength? This was a question that can only be answered in the future. Even Bo-Su, who had witnessed Chu-Che fight with ease, didn't know his limit. He could only say that he was a one-of-a-kind genius. Bo-Su frowned curiously. Boss Chu, why are your moves way more powerful than ours? Because I've mastered them. Chu-Che leaned lazily while facing them. Going forward, there will be many tools and techniques that you'll be able to use in the game. But your primary weapon is the Blade of Chaos, so it's good to master those skills first. Rumoyan nodded in agreement. Yes, I think the owner is right. It's said that the blades were forged at the darkest depths of the underworld by Ares himself and given to Kratos. Everyone was fascinated. So powerful? Yes. Rumoyan continued. The blade's chains were permanently sealed onto Kratos' forearms, which served as Kratos' reminder of his oath to Ares, the god of war. Kratos had tried to get rid of the blades after he broke his oath, but he couldn't get rid of them successfully. Right, boss? HMHM. He can never get rid of them. Even if he threw them in the sea, or left them even in a different city, they always fly back to him no matter where he goes. Boss Chu, tell us more. Emochko maravilhado. Everyone was very fascinated with everything about this new world. They wanted to know why Kratos had to go through what he did. But there were some things that the owner didn't tell them. In his words, they had to discover it for themselves. After talking with everyone, Chu Che decided to leave the gaming hall. But just when he was about to leave, his ears started buzzing. Ding! Congratulations, my darling host. You've completed your main mission. Instantly, the system appeared on his shoulders, holding cheerleading pom-poms while jumping around and celebrating. It even created little fireworks to celebrate. Chukechakol dinamusement. Ah, host. That reminds me. You did say that you would publicly load up Mortal Kombat XL after completing your current mission. So do you want to do that now? No. Today is already half over. I need you to make do that once the hall closes. That way, those who come tomorrow will see it. No problem, host. I'll make sure it's available for tomorrow. Good. Now let's see my rewards. Chu Che looked at the screen and almost fainted with joy. Ha 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 ha. Chu Che laughed and smiled so hard that the system almost thought he was going crazy. Did he accidentally explode the host's brain? Or could there be something wrong with the rewards he gave? Chu Che's eyes burned passionately while staring at the screen. All right. He was ready for action. Chu Che looked at his mission tab and smiled broadly. As for his rewards, he was given a viewing hall/cinema, combined with a simulator hall, as well as a mission/worker hall, or a guild for missions. Wait, he now had entire buildings. So how would this work? The situation seemed very different from when he was asked to look for buildings. What was this operation? Host, all you have to do is pick empty spots around the town, and these halls will be erected from the ground. They would sprout out and grow as if they were plants. Chu Che nodded in understanding before looking at his new missions. A mission, erect the viewing hall and simulator hall, as well as the mission hall. Also, get 80 people to start doing missions for the park. A mission task. Just like any park, there needs to be suppliers and buyers. The people of your town can also work for the town by providing essential materials. Be it residents or anyone else, provided they complete their assignments, they will get rewarded. The host is the town lord, so it is your duty to also provide jobs for the people, not only collecting their money. A mission rewards: popcorn and a single brand of energy drink. First 40 episodes of One Piece. New pavilion, which will have cultivation manuals, mangas, on the first 40 episodes of One Piece, as well as cultivation manuals on Majira and Kratos moves within the Prison of the Damned. A mission deadline: none. Punishment: none. Note: the rewards will only be awarded after completing all the missions. Again, the system has reconstructed the mangas as cultivation manuals for the customers to better learn the skills. Only those who had either completed the Prison of the Damned stage or watched One Piece can get the cultivation manual for the episode they watched. They must watch them in order, from episode 1 upwards, if they want to grasp the true essence of these techniques. It's also essential to note that missions can be streamed live by those who take them. Chu Che looked at his mission and almost started skipping around happily. Ha 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 ha. If he completed this one soon, he would get One Piece. How could he not be happy? He could finally enjoy some anime. The system is called the Anime, Gaming, Fantasy, AGF Entertainment System, and he had been wondering when the anime part would come. As an otaku, this particular reward almost made him cry with joy. His only hope is that the system would be able to continue rewarding it to him in future until it got completed. That was one of the things he truly missed from Earth. System, you said that the viewing hall was combined with a simulation hall. But what exactly is that? Host, it's a hall that can mimic any world or scenario, and those who enter can choose the scenarios listed there. Some might find themselves in the desert fighting for their lives against monstrous creatures, while others might be on the sea instead. Of course, there are different danger levels there too. That's it. Chu Che's eyes lit up even more. His rewards this time were truly mind-blowing. Apart from the mission hall, as well as having more computers rewarded, the simulator hall was also something else. But what motivated him further was that once he got done, he would get to watch One Piece. He had to open these halls soon to get this sweet reward. But now wasn't the time for that. Looking at the deadline for his new mission, it appeared that he could do it whenever he wanted. So he still decided to push it back for another week before starting. Why? Because he wanted everyone to get fully drawn to the world of Mortal Kombat. And so, just like that, Chu Che left the hall and went about his ordinary life as a town lord, leaving the addicted gamers behind. Tomorrow, he wanted to see their reaction when they entered the Mortal Kombat game. Heh, it should be a sight to behold. Chu Che massaged his chin playfully. This world just got more fascinating. Meanwhile, far away from Wonji town, a large group of people slowly fly across an impressive scene, looking like victorious heroes. Their presence brought a wave of revenge to all those who gazed upon them. Look, it's Elder Songai. F******. Standing behind him is the Grand Elder Nianzu. Ah, very sad era. I heard that she had just been appointed as elder, making her 12th youngest to become an elder in the sect's history. When can I get chosen to become a gold disciple? Pui, you aren't even a core disciple yet. Talk less of being a gold disciple. You're just an inner disciple. So keep dreaming. Hey, I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? Heh, provided you know that it's just a dream. People like us will never be able to reach that far. So don't betray the pact. Everyone watched in awe as many sect elders and a few gold and core disciples flew over them slowly with their famous beastly creatures. They all belonged to the profound sect and had just returned from a secret mission of killing some demons that threatened to break the sacred seals within Flaring Peak Abyss. This time, the demons tried to resurrect some higher power, hoping to bring it into the Ta continent. But how could they allow that? They and several other sects teamed up to fight against these forces. Now, the crisis had been lifted, but each sect faced several casualties. For the profound sect, 7% of those who went to fight ended up dying. 35% got terribly wounded, while another 20% of them only sustained light injuries. And the rest came out with no injuries at all. Grand Elder Nianzu was in this group. I say, Nianzu, why the rush? Nianzu looked at Songai impatiently. Songai, I don't have much time to waste. Before leaving for the mission, I learned a few of my direct disciples were in danger. So I sent a few others to their aid before leaving to deal with the demons. Now that I'm back, I've decided to see things for myself. Songai's eyes opened in shock. What could make Nianzu personally take a look? Was it that bad? Nianzu decided not to hide things and told him all he knew. Songai quickly decided to follow him to this strange place called Wonji Town. Worse comes to the worse, they could always escape using their very expensive escape talismans. With that, the duo left in a flash. Just what the hell was going on in this little town?